my poker peeps? It's May 20th. It's Saturday, and we worked all week. As y'all know, I work a 9 to 5, and we put in a little overtime there, and it's been a long week. But it's Saturday morning, and we need to hit the felt for at least a few hours. We got some other things we got to do today, but I got to get a session in. We got to get a vlog out. And while we're talking about that, when I talk about my vlog, it's my story. One of my biggest inspirations when it comes to poker and poker content is a guy by the name of D-Gaff. And his podcast sessions is, as much as it's about poker, because he's a poker player and a poker commentator, it's about the story. So we're going to tell my story, the Hatter story. So I'm going to take y'all to the casino. Well, it's not a casino. It's a poker room. I'm going to take you to my local poker room. It's the closest one to me. I got to drive almost an hour to get there. And I'm going to show you around a little bit. We're going to play about a 4 to 5 hour session, hopefully. And as y'all can see, yeah, I got the old ball cap on right now representing Team Hatter. But you see in the background, we got the top hat. So let's get on the road and head that way. I'll show y'all the way. All right, so we just arrived at Orange Park Best Bet. As you saw, we're gonna go jump in, hopefully have a good game, make some people laugh, spread a little positivity, and hopefully come out with a W. So I'll show y'all some of the sights and sounds as we get in there and show around. Unfortunately, they won't let me film at the tables, but we'll go ahead and jump in. Vlog number 2, let's go. How you doing? Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, my poker peeps, it's the Hatter. As you can see, we just got home. We had a short session today. We had some other stuff we had to do outside of poker that was a little more important, so we had to get off the tables after almost a 4-hour session. The hand reviews this time I'm gonna do a little different. I'm not really gonna put up the graphics. I just wanna go over them because really, honestly, there was no big exciting hands or anything like that. There was no all-ins, nothing of that. So I just wanna go over some hands. All these will be off the top of my head. As you see, we just chilling, sitting on the tailgate of the old pickup here. Getting a little sweaty, but it's all right. We're gonna go over these hands, do it a little different, and just show y'all, hey, this is who I am. Just sitting on the back of the truck talking about poker because it's what I love. So, as I said, we got into the 2-2 game for 200, and when I say card dead, y'all, I was so card dead. It is ridiculous how card dead I was. I couldn't get suited connectors, I couldn't get nothing like that. For the first 2.5 hours, I think I got Queen Jack suited once, King Queen offsuit, Ace Jack, Ace Queen, and a couple of pocket pairs that I called with and whiffed and had to fold to aggression. But the hands that I opened that I said in the beginning, all of them just whiffed the flop, and I c-bet 2 of them, couldn't get them through, and we ended up losing all them hands. And like I said, we just got blinded away and chipped away and just could not get nothing. When I say card dead, boy, we were card dead for the first 2.5 hours. To sum that part of this little hand review up, there was a tournament going on there today. I didn't know that. If that was the case, I might have went somewhere else because it kind of shortened the table. So the tables get shortened down. They were almost broke for a minute, so we had to wait on some players. And we're playing 5-handed, and when the dealer goes to deal, one of the players gets up to go to the restroom and just leaves the card, so he's auto mucking. It folds around me in the small blind, or to the button, and he's thinking, he goes, well, I don't want to mess up a chop. He folds his hand. The guy next to me, he looks at me and goes, you want to chop? He's a nice gentleman. He wanted to chop. I said, yes, let's chop. I'm not that person. So I turn over pocket kings. That was the best hand that we got in that whole first 2.5 hours. So I showed the kings. One of the guys that had been sitting there with me since I sat down for the 2.5 hours, he kind of chuckled. I kind of chuckled. I mean, it is what it is. It's part of poker, y'all. So getting into the hands that we actually did win, at this point we added on for 100 and then got all the way down again. We get in for another 100. So now we're totally in for 400 is what we're in for. And but we only had like 200 when I added on the last 100, and now that's down to 145. So now we have 145. We're stuck 400 for the session. And when the first hand comes up, I get ace king under the gun. I go ahead and open it. Two people call, and the guy that was running amazingly hot, but is a lag player now. But everything he was getting was hitting and everything. But he knew what type of player I was. He knew I was a tight, aggressive player. So when I open, he ends up, and you get two callers, he ends up 3-betting to 40. I have ace king offsuit here. I think if I wasn't running so bad that I would just go ahead and get it all in right here, which is probably the kind of correct play maybe. But on the other hand, I really don't want the other two to come in a little bit, but I mean, I'm just running bad. And even though the dude's a lag player, he knows me. So if I'm opening up under the gun and he's 3-betting, I really do put him on a lot tighter range than what he was doing with a lot of the other players. So he's not a maniac. He has an idea what he's doing. So I go ahead and flat call the 40, and me and him go heads up to the flop. And of course we're praying for an ace or a king, and we're hoping that he don't have neither one of them pocket aces or pocket kings. So it comes ace 4-4. I'm gonna go ahead and check it over to him. Like I said, he's been aggressive. He ends up checking it back. At this point, I have exactly $55 in my hand that I'm doing the little chip shuffle. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm shuffling it, and I know it's $55. So when the turn comes, it comes at 8, another brick. And at this point, I'm debating on whether I should go ahead and take a bet here or wait till the river. So I think about it for a second, and then I check it again, trying to think maybe he'll go ahead and try to push me off a hand. There was a lot of times earlier in the day where he pushed me, he thought he was pushing me off stuff, and I just didn't have nothing. I didn't connect with the board at all. And I think sometimes he was just doing it with aggression. But so I check it, and he thinks for a second, he checks back, and the ace comes on the river. So now we have the boat. But what I do is, because I was, like I said, I already knew that I had the 55. I already had that calculated in my head. So I just chunked it out there as soon as the ace hit. And he snapped me off quickly. Like he said, no, that don't make no sense. You didn't think about nothing. You just were shuffling through them chips that you had in your hand out there, which was what I was trying to get him to think, which worked. He goes ahead and snaps calls, which really with what he had is not a bad idea, especially when the ace comes. I'm glad I waited to the river to do this. He ends up showing pocket queens. Of course, we show the ace king, and we scoop that pot. And that's a decent little pot and gets us going. Right after that, I get ace queen, open up to 10. Get 3 callers. The flop comes queen 3-4 to 3 and a 4 are diamonds. I go ahead and I have the ace of diamonds with a queen. So I go ahead and bet out 20 into the field because I was the original raiser and I'm out of position. And one of the callers goes ahead and shoves all in for 38. Everybody folds around me. Of course, I'm gonna call there. I'm guessing he had a diamond draw. That's the only thing I can think he could have. He ends up folding, or he has a weaker queen. I flip over the ace queen as soon as I call. I don't slow roll people unless they give me a reason to. So we scoop that pot, and now at this point, now we're up over like 3. We're right at 3, and then I get aces. We went down a little bit. I'd called the maniac twice with pocket pairs trying to hit a set, and I missed both times. So I was back down to about 250, 260, somewhere in there, and then I get aces, and there's a young kid to the right of me. He's a capable player. He's a smart player. So he just opens the 6. I make it 20 with the aces. It folds back to him. He looks at me, goes, "I'm just going to give you action this one time." So I kind of have an idea what type of hand he has now. He definitely doesn't have a big, strong hand. So when he calls, the flop comes jack high. I believe it was jack 4-3, and he checks. I go ahead and c-bet 15. And he says, "I'm gonna give you one call." He calls, and the turn comes another brick. I mean, it doesn't do anything. It might have been like a 9. And he goes ahead and checks. And at this point, I think if I bet, he's folding 100% of the time. But what I want him to think is I have something like ace king, ace queen, and I was just c-betting. He's smart enough to know that I would be doing that with my entire range. So I check it back, and the river comes another brick. I want to say it was 2. And he goes ahead and throws out $20 real quick. I go ahead and make the call, and he shows pocket 7s, and we scoop that pot. So now we're back over 300. In the very next hand, he was under the gun. So this is the very next hand, and he puts on a straddle, and he seemed a little irritated when I did the thing with the aces. So he put on the straddle, so he kind of took me as the type of player when he puts on the straddle, he's got a point that he's going to try to prove. So I look down at ace king of hearts, and I'm going to go ahead and say right off the rip, this is the worst hand I played all day. So he's got the straddle on for 4. I go ahead, being under the gun, well, first act under the gun 1. I go ahead and just call, and I'm hoping someone's gonna raise, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna set this all up. So, I played this hand bad now I think about it. But anyways, it goes around. We end up going like 6 ways. He doesn't bump it. He doesn't pop it like I thought he was. I thought for 100% either the lag or him would pop it. Neither one of them did it. So now I'm going ace king of hearts, multi-way. This ain't good. So now ranges are pretty much out the window. I've not thinned nothing out. That's why I say I played this terribly. So the flop comes ace of diamonds, 3 of hearts, 5 of hearts. We smash the flop. We smash it, y'all. We smash the flop. So I go ahead, and now I got to start building the pot and start to get any kind of draw. Well, I don't want to get I'm a little worried about the straights and stuff like that. But I got a monster hand. So of course I'm gonna go ahead and lead into the field, which I do for, I believe it was 15 at this point. And as crazy it is, 4 people called. 4 people called. So then the 4 of diamonds rolls off. So now the board is ace of diamonds, 4 of diamonds, 5 of hearts, 3 of hearts. So any 2 makes a straight. And this is terrible. Like, I've done got myself in a situation now. So surprisingly, for whatever reason, now I'm a little skittish, and then I do have a good bluff catcher if someone wants to get crazy and try to represent the 2. So I check. It checks around to the most tightest player at the whole table, this older guy, and he bets 20. Now there's no way I can fold, and at this point I'm thinking he has a straight, but I got outs. So needless to say, I'm the only one that calls. The river comes a brick, and it ends up checking around, and the guy shows 5-4 for 2 pair. So we lose that one, and that was totally my fault. Totally my fault. This is just out thinking myself, thinking above. I raise. He's gonna fold that 5-4. That man is not playing 5-4 if I raise. And even though it was suited in clubs. But anyways, we'll move on from that hand, and we'll jump into, I believe there was one other hand. I believe like I forgot it at this point. There was another ace queen hand I think that I had that I won a pot with. So anyways, I mean, it was just a rough day. I didn't play best, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I don't want this video to be as long as my last one. I appreciate everybody tuning in, listening to me talk. Go out here and enjoy some of this and feed my dogs and get to work. But what up, my poker peeps? This is one thing I want to talk about, and this is one question I get asked a lot. The poker room I play at used to be a dog track, and about 2 years ago, it might have been 3 years ago, Florida banned them having dog tracks and kennel clubs. So this was actually a kennel club back in the day where they would have old Rusty run, as my buddy would say, old BR. But Rusty don't take off no more, so no more there goes Rusty. But as you can see, that's where the dog track was. A lot of people ask me about it, but that's what it looks like. And that's the building where they had all the boxes where you could watch the dog races. It's kind of crazy how much has changed. And pretty much inside, you can see a little bit when I walked in. Just some tables. That's it. What up, my poker peeps? It's the Hatter. So as you can see, we're back in the truck. We played almost 4 hours. We could have played longer, but I got some personal obligations. Shout out to my niece Chloe. We're going to her graduation party and show our support for her. It's crazy she's that old. I remember when she was a little baby. It's unbelievable to think that you've graduated right now. So we're going to go by there and just show our support and hang out and go there for a couple hours because that's way more important than the poker tables. As for the poker, though, that's why y'all are here, even though it's about my story. So to really tell you how the day went, we jump in, and for pretty much 3/4 of the session, we're just card dead. Just folding. And then when we do get a good hand to open, and when I say good hand to open, we were not getting suited connectors. We were not doing nothing. There was no, it was just deuce 8 offsuit, 7 deuce. I mean, just super card dead. It ain't like I was playing super tight by no means. But when I did catch premium holdings, they were usually hands like ace queen, ace king, stuff like this, or queen jack suited, and I'd open them up and you get 3-4 callers, and I'd whiffed every single flop for the first 3 hours. So we get in for 200, end up having to rebuy for 100, get down again. So I go ahead and pull the other 100 out because I bought in. I have 400 on me in chips, but you can put 200 on the table here. So I put that in there. We end up getting all the way down to like 150 out of the 400. And then I catch a small hand. I get up to a little over 2. And at that point, I was starting to wonder if I should just go ahead and get out of there because I didn't want tilt to get the best of me, which I did pretty good with that today. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I feel like I did pretty good. I didn't tilt. And I didn't really punt off any chips per se. So I'm kind of proud about that. And then I finally caught some hands that y'all already witnessed. So we had the ace queen hand. I did real good there. And then I'm sure I showed the ace king hand and I explained it, but that was just, I played that terrible and got what I deserved. And then after that, I catch a hand. I can't remember what it was, but I end up catching a hand and we get up to 325. And the blinds were coming around. I knew I was about to get up at the 4-hour mark, so I cut it a little short. And I mean, we lose 74 bucks. We cash out for 326. It's not the end of the world, y'all. I mean, this is a long-term game. This session really is just a small sample of how poker goes. The ace king of hearts hand, if I would have played it better, I think I could have been close to even. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe made a profit. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to Monday morning quarterback this type of thing, but I'm gonna finish this wrap up by saying this. This Thursday night, I'm playing on the Jack's Best Bet live stream. You can watch it on Facebook. You can on Facebook and on YouTube. It's Jacksonville Best Bet Live is their channel. Come out and support me. Hopefully, I play better than I did today. There was things I did well, and there was things I did really bad. The ace king of hearts hand really is really eating at me right now. And I never flopped no sets or anything like that. So you start bleeding away. It's part of the game. So hopefully we run better Thursday night, and I'll see y'all then, and we'll vlog it. And it's a great experience. I mean, I've never been to played on a live stream, so it'll all be brand new, and I'm a little nervous and excited, and we'll jump in there, and I'm gonna share every bit of it with y'all. That way y'all can see what it's like if y'all have never done it. All right, y'all. Hatter out.